Hello, today I'm going to show you how to add a GUI interface to an ActiveRecord object. For more information, go to visualruby.net. ActiveRecord is a Ruby class that will encapsulate all the database activities you want to do. Using ActiveRecord, you can add records to a database, delete records, but it would be nice if you could edit records. And that's what a GUI could do for you, is it will let you display and edit records in a nice little window on the screen. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration of that. Let me move this away. And here we have the database we're going to be using for this example. It's a simple database. You can see this is just MySQL. It's a table called people. So this will correspond to an active record called person. Okay, so here's the people table, and you can see it has ID, it has name, it has address, it has phone number, and email. So it's a pretty straightforward table. So we're going to make a GUI to display this information. Okay, to start, I guess we will go and start up Visual Ruby first. So here we have a command prompt. And to start Visual Ruby, you type VR, enter. If you haven't installed Visual Ruby yet, just go to visualruby.net and follow the download instructions. So here's Visual Ruby. That starts. And it's asking us what project do we want to open. Okay, I got a bunch of projects in here. What we want to do, though, is we want to create a new project. I like to do brand new projects from scratch to show you there's no tricks up my sleeve here. So let's see, I keep all my Visual Ruby projects here. So I'm going to create folder, and I'm going to call it AR for Active Record. And you can see there's no files in it, so Visual Ruby will create a new blank project. Okay, so there we go. I clicked OK, and it created this Active Record folder. And you can see when Visual Ruby starts up in an empty folder, it will create a skeleton file, a skeleton set of folders that has this my class in it, which is just a hello world program. So I'm going to run it just to show what it does. It just puts up a little hello world on the screen. So from this starting point, we're going to access an active record object, and then we're going to make a GUI for it. So let's start with the active record object. Or actually, first we need to start with the database connection. And I'm going to cheat a little bit here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut and paste from another project the connection strings. So here is, I'm just going to put it right here. And all this is doing is connecting to the database. If you want more information about it, you need to research ActiveRecord. This is how ActiveRecord establishes a database connection, is this code right here, which I just pasted in there. And you can see it's connecting to a server, and it's just using an anonymous name and password. Okay, so now this will connect to a database. So the next thing we need to do is make a class that simply accesses the person database. So we're going to make a new document, and all we have to do is say class person is a subclass of active record base. Okay. So now what that is the person class is simply going to saying create a class based on this table here from the people table. So ActiveRecord sort of magically knows that this just by naming this class person, that it's going to use the people table. Okay, so now we have a person class that's just sitting there, but what we need to do is show it on the screen. So to show it on the screen, we need to make a interface, a Glade interface for it. And luckily we have Visual Ruby, so all we have to do is include Glade
GUI, and all of a sudden this class now has the capability of having a user interface. Okay, so actually all the user interface is in there right now. So all we have to do is write a method to show the object on the screen. So we're going to say def show, and all we have to do is say load Glade, and this is a basic boilerplate command that just loads the Glade file for this person object. And the next thing we need to do is say set GladeAll, and what that does is that takes all the fields from person, and it will fill in the Glade form. So if the Glade form has a name, an address, and a phone number, and an email on it, those are going to get automatically filled in by this command glade set all, and I'll show you that in a second. And then all we have to do is show, so this loads the first line, this loads the Glade form, this sets all the values in the Glade form, and then this show window will just show it on the screen. And that's all you need to do to make an ActiveRecord object show on the screen. So let's do a save on this, and we're going to say save changes, and it's going to be called person RB, and it's going to be saved in this directory here, the bin directory, a standard place for all your your program files. So we'll click save. Now there's one thing left to do, and that's just to make the Glade form. So I'm going to right click on the person class, and in Visual Ruby, every class, if you have a class named person, it's going to correspond to a Glade file. Like you see here, my class RB corresponds to my class.glade. And that's the user interface. So we're going to make a user interface for person by just saying edit Glade file, and that will create a new blank Glade file. And I may want to cheat on this as well. Right now what I'd normally do is do something like this, where I make a table. I guess I could do it really quickly. And we're gonna make a V box, and we'll give it 4 fields, and I'm going to quickly do this, but I have a better looking one that I'm going to show you. So we're going to make 4 fields, and they're going to be called, and these are, what I did was put 4 entry boxes here. You see these are each entry boxes, and we're going to give them names that correspond to our fields in the database. So here's name, and we'll call that name. The second one we'll call address. Okay, third one we'll call phone, I believe it was, and the last one we'll call email. And let's just do a quick save on that. Now, hopefully this is just going to work. Well, actually, there's one thing we need to do too, is this is still showing the hello world program. So what we'll do is we'll say person.find0. I hope that works. And then we'll just do a show on it. Let's see if this works. No, doesn't work. Uninitialized constant active record. Oh, you need to add require active record, because that's not a standard thing that a Visual Ruby program will just start out with. So let's try it again. I clicked run, and nothing's happening. Where is it? Oh, it says couldn't find with ID 0, which I guess we don't have a ID of 0. So I think Dexter Clinkscale, if I remember correctly, his ID is 1. So we were just asking for ID 0 when there was no ID 0. So let's try that again. Find 1, run. Let's hope it works. Yes, it worked. So
So there's our first record. So we built this and got the first record up there in just this amount of time. And that shows you how easy it is to make a user interface. Now, I would normally space this out and make it look good, but I actually have a program that does that already. It's one of my example programs. So, but let me talk about one more thing first, though. You have a few options with this person class. Like normally, this person class, if you wish to leave your person class completely alone, what you can do is you can just simply subclass it and leave that class completely intact, and you would do something like this. You would say class person GUI is a subclass of person. So that way you leave your person object completely alone, and then whenever you want to show things in person, the person class on the screen or anything like that, you just use person GUI, and that's one of your options. This person class had basically nothing in it, so that's why it was easy just to come along and write this code, and I would recommend it for classes that are just basically empty. A lot of your ActiveRecord classes have very little in them, so it's pretty easy just to add a couple lines of code to make it make a GUI for it. Okay, so let me show you the discard changes. Let me show you the example that I had, which is basically the exact same thing as what I just did, and that is let's see, where is it? This one. Save changes to untitled, discard changes. Okay, so this is basically the same program we just did. The only difference is it has a chooser class here. This is going to choose the person, and it loads it into a list view, each one into a list view. Then you can click on them. And this is one of the great things when you have an ActiveRecord class. All you have to do is add each record to a list view, as I'm doing with this class here, and you can see it says choose person, and now it has all three records there. If you remember, there's Buford Klingscale, Alex Fredrickson, and Tony Williams in there, and you'll see this is our database. So it picks up each one of those and displays it on the screen, and now you can. And these are also clickable, so you can double click on them and it pops up our person class. Now this is just simply a nicer looking version of what we just did. All it is, it says person at the top and has spacing, but that's exactly the same class that we just did. It only just looks a little bit better. So you can see it's quite useful to have this ability to just list a bunch of your classes on the screen and double click on them and then have the user interface pop up. So the only thing missing here is you could have add buttons and delete buttons and update buttons and things like that to add and delete records and do all your activities that you normally do on a database. So that's how easy it is. And I guess I've said all that really needs to be said. There's more information on visualruby.net. So let me sign off to make this video not go too much longer. But good luck to you. And remember, visualruby.net is where all the tutorials and the like are. So good luck, and signing off.